How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to New Mexico State Men's Basketball News. I'm Marshall, and in today's video, finally talking about a win. We were only on a 2-game losing streak, got another win, 2-2 in our last 4 games. It feels like we're talking a lot more about losses than wins. At the beginning of the season, it was really fun. We started off 6-0. That's all we were talking about was wins. And I knew, eventually we start talking about some losses, but obviously didn't want to be talking about the amount of losses we've been having. I was always telling people, hey, we're going to probably have some tough stretches here and there, but I think we can probably be able to work through it. I don't want to get too high on the highs because I think a lot of people are really, really high on it. And I wasn't trying to be a downer. I was like, hey, look, there's going to be times we go through some triumphs and through adversity. We got to learn how to fight through it. And they haven't really been able to handle adversity a whole lot. And when they win games, like they haven't won consecutive games in conference yet, but they've lost multiple games in a row in conference multiple times. So hopefully that's something they can kind of fix going into the UTEP game, get a big revenge game against them. The Aggies, they lost to Liberty and UTEP, where those are the 2 games they lost after La Tech and before Jack State. And definitely could have won those games. Could be on a 4-game winning streak. Could be a lot better in conference than we are right now. Instead of being 5 games below, we can only be like a game or maybe even a game ahead. But all they can focus about is the future. Looking at these last 5 games, they're all very winnable. They're also very losable as well. Again, the game against UTEP's not that great of a team, but we also haven't been playing that great, haven't been playing as a team. UTEP's been playing a lot better in conference play as of late. Obviously, we got the big win against Jack State, which UTEP also beat Jack State. So a lot of similarity there. UTEP obviously a winnable game, especially being at home. The Aggies have not won a home game since Western Kentucky early on to the new year. So they started off 7-0 at home, and now they're 7-5. Has lost 5 consecutive at home, so definitely something they need to fix. They don't want to lose 6 straight. It'd be nice if they can break that streak. They also play against Western Kentucky and Middle Tennessee on the road, who are teams that they did pretty well against at home. Obviously, Western Kentucky beat by 16, had a 21-2 lead early. I think they got up by as much as it was like 20-something, like 28 points, like 41-13 at one point. So it's going to be hard to beat that on the road. I'm not expecting them to win by that much, but I do think they can definitely get a win against them and possibly sweep them. We swept teams like La Tech and Sam Houston, but again, we only played them once each, so it's kind of hard to call those sweeps. Middle Tennessee is a team that we should have beat at home, but last year we were 1-1 against them, beat them on the road, lost them at home, so maybe they can beat them on the road as well. Jack State, who the Aggies just beat, 79-70 on the road on Valentine's Day, really good win there. Have them at home, so again, it'd be nice to think like, hey, if we can beat them on the road, maybe we can beat them at home, but as we know, that's not always the case, as that hasn't happened like with Delaware this year or UTEP last year. Kennesaw State, we just don't match up well with them, but they're only 6-8 in conference. Liberty was picked to finish first, and they're way up there. They're going to get the first seed. Kennesaw State was picked to finish second, and they're low in the standings, not that far in front of us. We're only a game and a half behind them. And then we were picked to finish third, and we're dead last. So at least we're like the only ones kind of screwing up. Kennesaw State's there as well, but they did destroy us by 23 points at their place. And we made the score look a little better. I think we got down by as much as 28, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. So maybe the Aggies can do a lot better at home on senior day. Get a big win against former Aggie and Jaden Harris, which is something they haven't been able to do, with Zoggy Jackson. So nice if we can split the season series there, even though we won't, we'll have a losing record overall against former Aggies going 1-3 if we win the game, but 1-3 is a lot better than 0-4. The lighting looks a little weird. First it looked fine, but now I'm looking a lot darker, so sorry for that. But let's get in the video and talk about the Aggies' big win over Jack State and how they can use this as momentum going forward against UTEP and the rest of the games we talked about. Because every game, again, is very winnable, but all those games are also losable too. If you look at it, Kennesaw State destroyed us. We don't match up well with them. Even being at home might not help out, especially since we've been struggling at home. Jack State, even though we beat on the road, hard to beat a team twice, and it's weird. We started off a lot better at home, and now we've been seeming to play a little bit better on the road. So we'll see how it all goes. Western Kentucky, kind of the same thing as Jack State. Hard to beat a team twice. Middle Tennessee went on a big run against us. Even though we threw the first punch, they threw the second. So it's going to be hard to get that one. And UTEP, it's going to be hard for them to beat us at the Pan Am. They did it last year. And even it's going to be hard for them to beat us twice. We've also proven to lose to teams that we should probably beat, and then beat maybe teams that we're not always supposed to beat. Like Jack State was obviously a great win. I know UTEP beat them as well. And Jack State overall, they're only one game better than us, 13-12. We're 12-13, which is weird to say because, even though we're 12-13, it feels like we're a lot worse. But that start we had going 6-0 and even 8-3 at one point, obviously really helped us out. And, we're losing a lot of games recently. Our overall record is not as bad as it may seem. And, being 5-10 in conference, so obviously we'd much rather be 10-5, right? Flip the script there, maybe 13-12 overall. Well, if we were 10-5 in conference, would be a lot better overall because that start. But obviously, it's nice that we started great, but now we're not playing as great overall. In this last game, you kind of wish it was reversed because we've had times like that, like last year, start off 3-5, and so I know if the season's strong, or even Hoon's first year, we had some moments there where we were kind of struggling, and then started playing better toward the middle and rough at the end, and then at the very end, when those last two conference games, and then lost in the tournament. Still went 2-1 in March, and once it hits March and you get into that conference tournament, if you're able to get there, anything can happen, and you go from there for the NCAA tournament. Magical runs can happen. We've seen a lot of teams do it. Even our baseball team back in 2022, I mentioned how they had a losing record, 10 games below 500, 24-34, but still made their tournament and had to play in, won the WAC, and went from there. Lost to Oregon State, I believe it was, but they played really well, and maybe the Aggies can do something similar. We'll see a similar spark. That was my senior year of high school, so maybe my senior year of college, they'll be able to do something like that. It was also my senior year of high school when the Aggies last went dancing in the NCAA tournament. Haven't been able to do it since I've been here, so maybe again, senior year of college, be able to get it done. That's something I was really thinking that they could possibly do going into the season. And even if they didn't get it, I thought they'd be right up there with it. And it's not looking like that right now. Again, anything can happen once you get to that tournament. Let's talk about that win. I know I'm kind of talking about a lot of other things. Let's talk about that win right now. The Aggies played a solid game all throughout, start to finish. They were down a little bit at the start, like 10-6, and then they were able to build a little bit of a lead there halfway through the first half. And I never looked back. I mean, there was times that Jack State obviously went on a little bit of a run. They got close within 3 or 4 times, but we were kind of pulled away. Toward the end, we kept it within like 9 to 11 points the whole time, which was nice. And I was just really hoping, hey, the Aggies do not let this one slip away right at the end. We're up by double figures or 3 minutes, right where we want them. Big road win. Team that we beat last year on the road too. And even the year before that, we beat Jack State on the road. So it has a team that we've been able to do very well against on the road. Obviously, completely different teams from both sides. Last year we split with them. The year before that we swept them. So we are 4-1 against Jack State. So if there's any team to talk crap about us or to us in Conference USA of any sport or just specifically basketball, that is not the team that can't. But they've been really good games. I mean, I think we beat them by 2 points both times. We played them a couple years ago. One of them was on the Pack the Pan Am night. We had over 11,000 fans. I think it was 11,272 to be exact, or in that range. Maybe it was 76 or 78. I remember in the 78. I can't remember exactly, but that was a great win. We won by 2 points. They had 2 chances right at the rim to win the game, but they missed both. And it'd be nice if we get that luck now. But no, that was a great win. And we beat them by 2 points on the road. And that was the only team to be on the road that year in Hooten's first year, 66-64 to snap a 6-game losing streak. Then beat FIU the next game, 77-70 after winning by 26 at one point or leading by 26 at one point. Then lost in the tournament to Western Kentucky. But that's kind of what I was talking about earlier, how they would have won those last 2 games and go 2-1 in March. And again, I think last year they went like 2-2 in March or something like that. So anything can happen once you get to that point late in the season and you're playing your best brand of basketball by that point. Last year was kind of a heartbreaking loss to them at home, but we beat them on the road by like 9 points. So maybe we're just better on the road against them, who knows. But they can't sweep us, even if they beat us that last game, which hopefully we can try to get that win. If we play the way we did, on Saturday, I think we really can get the win. Jamel Jones, he didn't play as great as he has been playing. He only had 4 field goals, but that's 16 points because he made 6 free throws, shot really well from the line. The whole team shot well. Juice, 5 for 6 from the line. A lot improved when he only shot, I think it was 1 for 5 or 2 for 6, I think it might have been against UTEP. So hopefully he can shoot just like he did against Jack State against UTEP and, extend that 3-point shooting range. I think he only took 1 3 and missed it, but I made a post about him yesterday, how he's shooting 37% from 3. He's obviously not shooting a lot, but he's taking smart ones and he can knock it down. His girlfriend's on the women's basketball team and she's a shooter. So hopefully, he can take some notes from that. I was going to say maybe she can take some notes dominating the paint, but she's more of a guard, so she doesn't really need to do that. And Juice, I guess, technically doesn't need to extend the range, but it's obviously nice if you can have that. I feel like everyone can shoot threes nowadays, so it's always nice to have, if you can have that, obviously. Elijah Elliott probably had one of the weirdest games I've ever seen in my entire life at any level. Had 12 points, snapped that streak. He had 5 games in a row where he didn't score in double figures. He's the type of player that can do that. He was averaging 10.5 points per game. Now he's averaging lower in the 9s. So he had 12 points, but all of them were free throws. He was over 3 from the field, I believe, or over 4, over 3 from 3, maybe it was over 2. I can't remember. He just didn't shoot that well from the field. Didn't take a whole lot of shots, but got to the line a lot and made all his free throws, 12 for 12. So that's great. Obviously, it would have been nice if he could shot the ball a little bit. Maybe he could have shot more shots. And because a lot of times, when guys score a lot of points, they get a lot of free throws. But all his points were free throws and shot 12 for 12 from the line. That's great. I was doing stats for the women's basketball game last week, and I was talking to this guy, and he was telling me how one of the girls, I think that one of the high school games he was statting for, shot 12 for 12 from the line as well. So that's really, really good. I mean, most guys, if you're a really good free throw shooter, like in the NBA, you see guys like Steph Curry, Damian Lillard, Anthony Simons, obviously I'm naming some Blazers, but they're all 90% free throw shooters or even higher a little bit. So going 9 for the 10 for the line is really, really good. To go 12 for 12, shooting 100%, even if you're to miss one more, you're still shooting in the 90s. That's really, really good. So need more of that. As a team, they shot 26 for 31. The only guy that really struggled from the line was Gabe, who's usually really good from the free throw line. He was 0 for 3. So imagine he just made the 3 like he usually would, or going 2 for 3, or even better in the 90%. But high 80s. We're going to need that the rest of the way through. I'm not expecting us to shoot that great every game from the free throw line, but if we can shoot, I feel like we can shoot at least 80%, that'd be great. And honestly, if you're shooting in the mid 70s to low 80s, it's a pretty good range. And that's something the Aggies, I feel like have potential to do, but so does every team in the nation. And I feel like nowadays, a lot of teams, even the NBA, like the Blazers, they struggle with their free throws too. So it'd be nice to see that, those teams improve on that. And I feel like that's definitely something that they can continue to improve and help them out a lot. And maybe I'll ask Hooten in the presser what's kind of led to that improvement. They always work on free throws. Maybe they just fell on the right day. Maybe we need to play Jack State on the road every game and we'll win. But we'll see. It'd be nice to get that next year too and get 4 straight wins against them on the road. Obviously, before we start talking about next year on the road, we got to beat them here at home, and then we'll probably play them at home again to start the year and then play them on the road. And that's usually how it works. You'll play a team on the road, then at home. The next year, you'll go home, road, kind of like that. Going back to Juice, though, had a really, really good game. Had another double-double. I believe he had 17 points, 13 rebounds, did a lot of great things. Jacoby Osborne played great on the defensive end. Thought everyone played well in their own right. Even Augustine Ekwe came in and got some big minutes, had 4 rebounds. Still weird how his number's like 66 now. I don't know what I've heard, but I heard they're doing something with number 44. I don't even know. I could be wrong. Maybe they're retired. I don't know what's going on with it. But yeah, a weird number. But yeah, I guess he wanted to, keep both his numbers the same. Obviously 44, both 4s, double 4. Maybe he wanted to stick with that. And that was the only number that was available. Kind of a weird number to wear, but hey, if he's playing well with it, I'll take it. Because again, we don't really need him to score like that. But him grabbing those rebounds is definitely huge. In just 8 minutes, had 4 rebounds. So his rebounds to minutes ratio, pretty dang good. If you're playing 32 minutes, you're getting, what is that, 4, 8, 12, 16 rebounds. That's pretty good. Half of the minutes you played. We haven't seen Sear Belonga in a while. Maybe we'll see him against UTEP. Kind of see how he fits into the rotation. He's obviously a little bit of an older guy. And Hooten says he knows what he needs to do to play. So we'll see if we see some Sear minutes soon. He started the year. Wish we could see him a little bit more. But again, we got, he's got to do what he needs to do to help the team win. And if he's not doing that at practice, then he's not going to see action in the game. But I'm sure we'll see some Sear here toward the end and see some big games from him. Because he's had a couple of double-digit scoring performances. Like, I know he had 16 points against Adams State, but I believe he had like 13 against Tulsa. And that was one of the better teams we played all year. With us not playing a Power 4 school, Tulsa is one of the better mid-major schools in the country, probably toe-to-toe with Liberty. And, so that was a tough loss we had there. But, we did our best, almost had it. Almost had to come back, and Sear was a big part of that. And he had another, 10-point outing again. I can't remember against who, but he's had some big games. So I would really love to see him in there a little bit more down the stretch. I know Augustine's been fitting the team a little bit better recently. I think Sear's a little bit better of a scorer. Rebounding, they're probably pretty similar. But really need those guys to lock in and be as deep as we can going into that tournament if we can get there. It's going to be tough, but it's doable. Even if they win all these games, it might not be enough. It really just depends on how the teams do. But like Hooten said in many press conferences before, the Aggies just got to do what they can do, control what they can control. Last player I want to talk about, Jalen Randall, played really well. 20 points, 5 threes, got to a hot start, had 3 straight threes at one point. Chris Terrell hit a 3 before that. The whole team played well. And Jalen Randall has those moments here and there where he plays really, really good. And just kind of like Elijah recently, he wasn't really playing that good. But both those guys played well. They both scored double figures. I know Elijah, all his points were the free throws, no field goals, but hey, we'll take it. Jalen Randall, big game from him. He started a few games for us. I feel like I like his role better off the bench. Him and Elliott have proven to be really, really good in that role. So if they can continue to try to play with the way they did against Jack State, maybe Elijah starts making some more field goals and can make his free throws more consistent like he did. And Jalen Randall shot well overall. He only had 1 free throw, if I'm not mistaken, but really efficient game from him. We'll love to see him continue to do that more and more. And that's what's nice about this team, is we are a deep team. We have a lot of guys that can score the ball, which is why it's really confusing why our record is not where we want it to be. But again, you look at the defense. Like that Liberty game, we gave a wide open 3, wide open game winner. We had some other shots here and there that were just clean looks. If they're going to make shots on us that are heavily contested, so be it. You can't do anything about that. But when they're wide open, clean looks, you got to fix that. I'm not going to talk a whole lot about the UTEP game. I do have to go to class here in a bit. Maybe we'll make a video later in the week kind of highlighting that game, how it could possibly go. But we've already seen UTEP. We know how they play. We know what we do. I think we play our best brand of basketball. We play really, really well against Jack State. I think we win that game. Against La Tech, we didn't play our greatest game. We still won by 9 points. I thought this Jack State game was really, really good. I think Jack State is a little bit better of a team than La Tech. So really good win for us there. Just got to keep using that as momentum and improving. And, we haven't been able to fight through adversity. There's a lot of times we lose 2 to 4 games in a row. We can't always bounce back after that. And we haven't been able to win multiple games in a row. So doing that against UTEP's a point of emphasis. Got to play really, really good defense. That 3 that they hit on us on the end that tied the game to go into overtime, that was good defense. Can't do anything about that. Got to secure that steal, though. It's like, we looked at it for a second, just didn't grab it. Really got to hone in on the defensive end. Use those high-energy plays. We need the Pan Am to be rocking. We need a lot of fans there. We had about 8,000 for the game against UNM. I think there's like 5,000 or 6,000 at UTEP. So if we can get, right in the middle of that, that'd be great. Aggies will put on a show. Really looking forward to it. The press conference isn't today on Monday. It will be on Wednesday this week. I think it's just because it's only the one game. So hopefully they can use that preparation to help them play a little bit better. It's probably another question I'll ask Hooten. So if you guys watch those press conferences, you want to hear my voice. So please do that. Show some love there. Really appreciate you guys for watching this video. Again, as always, please let me know what you guys thought about the Jack State win and what you think the Aggies need to do to beat UTEP and avoid getting swept by them. We don't want to get swept by them because we haven't been able to sweep them since I've been here. But we'd love to split with them. You know, if we go 4-4 against them in my time here, it's a lot better than having a losing record against them. And with both football and basketball and all that, like, we're dead even with them, with UTEP and UNM. So it'd be nice if we can get this win against UTEP to stay dead even. We're actually right now, I think overall we're losing that battle. But if we can win it, we'll be dead even. If not, we'll be below 500 against them by 2 games. Don't want that to happen. So see how it all goes. Just want the best for my teams, and obviously I'm going to support them even when I'm not in school. I'm going to still make these videos and do all that stuff. But as a student, you want to see them be the best they can, which is, you know, see the football right here. Had some really, really good football years, but I want to see those basketball years as well that they've, you know, so accustomed to in the WAC. Obviously being in Conference 2 is a little tougher, which I think fans need to understand. But I think sooner than later, they'll figure it out. And hey, if they can, you know, pull out these last 5 games, not saying they're going to win all of them, but I think winning 3 to 4 of them is definitely possible. But I could also see it not going that way. But we'll just love to see how they do down the stretch here. I feel like it's so easy to be positive after a win like they had against Jack State, and it's so easy to be negative after those losses. Like, it's completely different tones for everybody. But got to stay as positive as you can. You know, it sucks that we're only 12-13 and only 5-10 in conference, but hey, we won our last game, and the past is the past. You got to keep working from there. Let's just use that win as momentum, and I think the guys will do that. Really looking forward to a good game against UTEP. I'd like to think that they're going to win. I know I thought that against the last time on the road, but I have more confidence of them being at home and trying to get a big bounce back. I think they want it for the fans and for themselves, and to turn the season around a little bit after such a great start. Maybe they'll have a great start, you know, bad middle, great ending, and that's all we can ask for. You know, you're gonna have to go through the climax, right? Ups and downs, so like a roller coaster. We'll see how it all goes. I'm gonna stop talking because I gotta go to class right now, but I really hope you guys enjoyed this video. Again, please comment below what you thought about the Jack State game and what you think the Aggies can do to beat UTEP, whether that's improving from the last time we played them or even, you know, make some improvements on this last game against Jack State, because I think this Jack State win was probably the best win they've had for, you know, in a while in conference. Obviously I know they destroyed Delaware on the road, and Delaware's been playing a lot better recently. They've been beating some really, really good teams. I can't remember, I think I know they beat Kennesaw State early in the year. They beat another really good team recently. I can't remember who it was on the top of my head. FIU, of course, won, so we're still last. But UTEP lost. So if we can beat UTEP, we'll have that tiebreaker over them, I think, because we'll have the better overall record. And so this UTEP game's a must win. I'm not saying if we lose it, we won't make the tournament, but for like 4 games after that, it's kind of, you know, cutting close. So we really need to get that win. In my opinion, it's a must win. If you can win that, get back to 13-13 right at 500, and then get one step closer to, you know, continue to improve that conference record. That's all you can ask for. And, well, I'm out.